Welcome to a new mini-series on this channel. ShinHan has been very kind to send me this gorgeous set of watercolors, and I want to take a really detailed look at each of these colors and then finally talk about what I think of all the colors as a set. In order to do that, I have created detailed swatch cards of all 32 colors. We're going to break them down into about 5 to 6 colors per episode so we can take a really good detailed look, and then a final episode where I talk about what I think about the whole thing as a set. So today we're going to be taking a look at the lemon yellow, the permanent yellow light, permanent yellow deep, cadmium yellow orange, and the permanent yellow orange, as well as the vermilion hue. One thing I want to let you know is that I've changed the brush that I use for doing the swatches just for these smaller swatch cards. Because they're a little bit smaller, I normally use size 10, but here I am going to be using size 8 of the same line of brushes. It's the ProArt ProLink Plus. The paper is the Barking Food that I always use for swatch cards, so that hasn't changed. It's just the smaller size. Now let's take a look at lemon yellow. It is PY81, which is your standard colors that a lot of brands use for lemon yellow, and as such it is a very intense, bright, cool yellow, and it's very good at gradation. That's one thing I will say about the ShinHan colors that I've tested throughout this mini series. They're very good at gradation. Opacity is semi-opaque, and I would agree with the brand's labeling of this color being semi-opaque as well. In terms of staining, I would say it's a medium stain. You're not going to get it off the paper completely, but it's also yellow, so it's also not that noticeable if there's much staining left. In terms of glazing, it's very good at doing the glazes, but if a yellow lifts up, I don't think you'll notice it as much. This is a very high tinting strength color for a yellow, and I've mixed color mixes with Holbein's Vermillion, Daniel Smith's Quinacridone Rose, and Holbein Sailor Blue Yellow shade. Obviously, I picked these three because they're the three primary colors. They're all high tinting strength, so that's going to let us know whether the color themselves are high tinting strengths or not. It creates beautiful, strong mixes. I love this corally color that mixing the lemon yellow with the Quin Rose creates. I think it's a really pretty color, and I would love to try color mixing with many more colors with this lemon yellow. Then we have the permanent yellow light, which is made with PY1, which is your usual Hansa yellow color, and this I would say is a very typical Hansa yellow color. It's this mid, slightly warm but quite mid yellow color. They're usually transparent, and in this case I would say the brand classifies it as transparent. I would say it's semi-transparent because I do see some deposits on the black line, but it creates this gorgeous sunny bright gradation. Again, really good gradation for a yellow color. Again, because it's Hansa yellow, it's very good tinting strengths, but very different in the result color mix. They're both very strong, but this is definitely more orangey. This is definitely more of a yellow olivey green color, whereas this is a very bright kind of early summer kind of color. This will be a great color mix color for people who do bright poppy kind of painting, whereas this you're going to get a little bit more muted color, but this orange is still very beautiful, and I love the texture that it's created. It's very gorgeous. It is semi-staining, and it's also good at glazing. Then we have permanent yellow deep, which is PY83. A lot of people use this as a Indian yellow for a lot of the brands. This color is definitely approaching the orange territory and leaving the yellow territory. It's kind of on the fence between a definitely yellow color and a definitely orangey color. So I think it depends on how you see color, because we all see color differently, whether you would classify this as a yellow or a orange. This color does suffer from a slight shine, very slight shine, but I've noted this because one of the downsides that I've noticed with ShinHan is they're very, very intense colors, but they also suffer from a lot of shininess at the top, which is not something you want if you use your paint at mass tone quite a lot in your painting. You don't want your painting shiny. So I have noted those down whenever it's happened. It also suffers from a little bit of cauliflower, but it's also not bad cauliflower. So I wouldn't stress too much about whether this will gradate okay or not. It still creates a beautiful gradation, and it's a very, very intense color. It's classified as transparent, and this time I do agree with it. I don't see any deposit on the black line, so that's definitely transparent. It is semi-staining. You're gonna get that yellow stain happening. You're not gonna lift the whole paint off the paper. It's also a very good glazer, which is nice. And in color mixes, it's really interesting how the color mixes are changing through the scale. This is like really bright, and then it gets more and more muted as we go along. This is definitely more of an olivey color. Again, beautiful color mixes. Then we have Cadmium Yellow Orange, which is made with PY35 and PO20. PY35 is Cadmium Yellow and PO20 is a Cadmium Orange. And again, really good gradation, very intense colors, very bright colors. ShinHan, if you want bright colors, ShinHan is a very good brand for that. And in terms of transparency, it's classified as semi-opaque, and I would agree with that. It's very opaque, lots of deposits on the black line. It's semi-staining, and it's again good at glazing. Again, high tinting strengths. These all so far have been very high tinting strengths. So if you have a high tinting strengths palette, then ShinHan will work really well with your palette. And I love how like this is getting more muted as we go down the spectrum. Then we have Permanent Yellow Orange. This is PY83 with PO13. That is the Diarylide Yellow HR, otherwise known as Indian Yellow, and Benzimidine Orange. So it's a very intense, strong, transparent orange. It does suffer from a slight sheen at the top, like here. I'm not sure if the camera can catch this, but I definitely see a sheen. No, it's not showing up on the camera, is it? I do definitely see a sheen though. It is a good gradation. You see the stages very clearly, which is something you want because it shows you that you are fully in control of the gradation. But yeah, it does suffer the sheen. It's classified as transparent, and I would agree with that. No deposit on the line. It's semi-staining again. In terms of glazing, this is where the glazing kind of gets a bit unstuck. I do definitely see unevenness happening. It's not too bad, but it's also not like the other colors that we've seen so far. Again, high tinting strengths, and therefore you get really high tinted strong mixtures. And this green is a gorgeous khaki green. Beautiful colors to mix with. And finally, for this video, we have the Vermilion Hue, which is made with PO16, which is the Benzidine Orange. And it gives you good gradation, very clearly defined stages. I do this so that I can let you guys know that you have the full control. You can definitely make more smoother transition if that's what you're looking for. I just do this to see if you're in control of that or not. It does suffer from slight cauliflowering here and there, so it is something to look out for if you are going to do gradation with this color. You're going to have to be a bit more careful with your water control. I obviously don't do as much water control on these swatches. as I would in a real painting, so that if a color suffers from cauliflowering, it shows up on the swatch, so I can let you guys know, hey, this is a color to watch out for in terms of water control. Just be extra careful on this one. The brand classifies this as transparent, and I would agree with that. It's highly staining. You're not going to get that red off the paper once it's down. In terms of glazing, it's pretty uneven. I will call a color a bad glazer if I can see light outline here. So what I do is I obviously paint this bottom layer first, let that dry, and then come in, draw a square or a rectangle, and then fill that rectangle. And if a color is not good at glazing, then you will see the outline here and here, where, yeah, that you can see it better there, where the outline, where I put the outline, have lifted the paint below. In terms of tinting strengths, it's again high tinting strengths. I don't think there is a single color that isn't high tinting strengths in here, and it creates gorgeous mixes. Vermilion Hue is almost pretty much the complementary color to the Sailor Blue yellow shade here. That is it for this episode of the yellows and the oranges of the ShinHan 32 color set. I hope this was useful to you. Do let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite. They're all very intense colors, so if you're like me and love the bright colors, then definitely a good set to go for. In the next episode, we are going to be covering the reds and the pinks and also the violets, so do look forward to that episode. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye!